Mm.
He did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster.
The Monster Mash. Angel, that's a classic Halloween song.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Like
my
one of the
favorite
best.
actually.
Your favorite. I don't mind the little This is Halloween from the I think it was the Nightmare
Right,
Before Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, I dig that one. But hey, happy Halloween to everybody that's tuning in. Of course, we are recording this on Halloween, October 31st. But if you're listening to the next day, which is November 1st, happy Dia de los Muertos as well to those who celebrate. Um, I mean, what you got on right there, Angel? What do you got going?
So it's a simple green T-shirt. So my baby's gonna be a koala. For his first Halloween, he's about 2 months old. So what do koalas like to be sitting on? Well, a tree. So this is my top part of a green shirt, and I have brown pants to symbolize the tree. So I'm a tree this year.
Yeah, we got to put some leaves on you, or at least a little black
Oh yeah.
spots. Make it look a little realistic, but it looks nice, nice. I'm saddle bronker. Got my horse right here. I mean, you could say too. I'm a cowboy, which is saddle bronc. Yeah, that's what it's called, right? Saddle bronc.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the rodeo event, but yeah, got my Willie Nelson little neckerchief, cowboy vest, cowboy hat, and of course my horse is doing pretty well.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we
And
had it again. We got again the Halloween spirit. Of course, it's October 31st, like we said, that we're recording on, and of course, I mean, who's too young to trick or treat and dress up? I mean, we're in our mid 20s and we're still doing it. And Angel's doing it with his son. Nothing wrong with that. But I know everybody don't want to hear about that. There's some big things going on. We'll talk about the Astros managerial search right now. The title, episode 41, Astros vacant managerial search, as the Astros are trying to figure out who's going to lead the team for the next season of 2024 and maybe beyond the future. Maybe some, continue on. No wrong with that. But we'll get through that. Vibes are immaculate. We'll talk about why the vibes are immaculate in Houston pertain to the Astros. Dusty Baker, favorite moment, of course. Dusty Baker retired after 26 seasons of managing baseball. That is historical right there. Over 50 plus years of being in baseball, which is my gosh. That's just crazy right there too as well. And then we'll talk about the Astros managerial candidates. What sources we're hearing from? We got some from Brian McTaggart, Bob Nightingale as well, and then we'll give out our top 5 managerial candidates that we would like to see fill in for Dusty Baker after he retired. But first, Angel, the vibes are immaculate in Houston. Why? Even though the Astros did lose the Game 7, the ALCS, Rocket season are upon in the Houston sports world, as well as the Texans, as well as the Dynamo. But why we say vibes are immaculate is because the Astros players, I mean, you got to give them, they played since November. And then some of them played in March for the WBC. And then, of course, playing all the way to November again. Like we said, it is just not the way the Astros wanted to end their season. But at the same time, too, hey, the guys need a break. And sure enough, Jerry Pena, David Hensley, the Hens House, and JP3 going deep sea fishing last week. I don't know if you saw some photos out there. Ryan Presley.
did not.
Ryan Presley could be a basketball player, dude. He made a free throw before the Rockets game. I don't know which game, but and if you make the free throw, the Rockets donate $5,000 to the Clutch City Foundation. If you don't make it, I think they donate either 1,000 or 2,500. I don't have the number at the top of my head, but I believe it's one of those numbers. But the 5,000 I'm for sure because Ryan Presley sinked that ball like nothing. There's been a bunch of Astros that have done it in the past. Bregman, Verlander, I believe Biggio, not Biggio, Altuve has done it once, I want to say, but Ryan Presley getting on the action. Hey, he has a good future of being a basketball player after his baseball career. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
lastly,
Chas McCormick.
go ahead.
Yeah, and I know actually Brian Brady and Chas McCormick actually played basketball prior to playing baseball too. So that's pretty awesome.
Hey, they got some second. They're that's why baseball players are athletes for a reason. There is no
Yeah.
secret behind that. The baseball players could play basketball, they could play football. Hey, shoot, you could put them in the hockey rink if you want, and they'll try to figure out a way to score that puck into the goal. But lastly, too, Yordan Alvarez, a Alvarez sighting. He attended the Houston Dynamo's first playoff game on Sunday when they took on Real Salt Lake, and Dynamo won 2-1, so they advanced into I believe round two of the series of the MLS Cup playoffs. But hey, Yordan Alvarez getting on. You hardly see him out in events, and he goes out there to cheer on Hector Herrera and the Dynamo. And there was even a video and a pictures of them trading. Well, not trading jerseys, but Herrera getting his jersey off his back and giving it to Alvarez. So that's pretty cool that the guys are still getting out and about and supporting the other Houston local teams out there.
Oh yeah. And I think even Marty Monado, Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, they all went to a concert together as well. I
Yeah.
think I believe it was Mike Tower or something like that while he was here in Houston. But hey, I know what like I know the Astros hope like wish and hope they will still be playing right now, but I bet they're enjoying the break, letting the body recover a little bit, and just like you said, like they're really enjoying their time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long season, 162 plus games, including the playoffs. And then, of course, you take into account last year's World Series and then the WBC. Hey, these guys need a break. They're not going to be playing the whole 12 months of the year. So let the guys relax, enjoy their break. And then, of course, when spring training comes, I'm pretty sure they're going to get ready and back in action.
For sure, for sure. Now, the big news of the Astros this offseason is they need a new manager, right? Jesse Baker retired right after the ALCS, and he gave a really big speech. How it was time, right? He wanted to spend time with his family. And what deserved? I mean, he's been in baseball for a very long time, but now Houston uh, not necessarily has a problem because the Astros are going to have a lot of candidates that want to coach this team. Again, this team won the World Series in 2022. We're a game away. This is a manager's dream coming into uh
Yeah.
like especially a first time manager or trying to like come back and manage a baseball team. This is an appealing job. Um, this is what Dusty Baker had to say per Ryan McTaggart. He's like, I'm retiring from the field here in Houston. I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do or where I'm going to do. I still feel like I haven't done what I'm supposed to do in life. I feel the Lord has great things ahead of me. He also went on to continue. I hope that we're in better shape now than when I got here, even though we were in great shape then. I want to thank Jim Crane for having the faith in me. Now, we kind of went on a little rant uh, last podcast saying how Dusty Baker was a great manager and how one of the best in Nationals history, right? If
Mhm.
not the best or one of the best, right? So, he spent a great 4 years, obviously won a World Series with Houston, but he's had some good moments in this Houston uniform. Do you have one in particular that catches your attention that you want to add on a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, if you really go back to 2020, I mean, his first
Okay.
year managing the Astros. And of course, I don't think anybody had thought about the COVID situation at that time. You remember that happened in March of 2020, prior to the season was about to begin. The season didn't start until July, and then of course, I believe it was like 3 months of baseball, then the playoffs, and then the World Series. But Dusty Baker moment for me, of course, he got his players, especially with the Astros dealing with the 2017 cheating scandal. Players weren't going to be happy about it. Of course, there were fans at the time, but I mean, later on through the seasons, you're going to hear the fans, but the players, especially, of course, Dodgers and Astros, being one of the classic matchups ever since this scandal has came up upon. But of course, Joe Kelly pitching in for the Dodgers and won the situations. Goes to first, and Michael Brantley had beat out a single, I believe. And Joe Kelly just was kind of waiting and just slowing himself down, going back onto the mound. And of course, Dusty Baker, like he's like, "Come on, dude, let's go. We got a game to play." But the quote being the most important one is he had said, "Get on the mound, little and beep." kind of, you could finish the rest, or you could try to figure out what word he had used in that sentence. But yeah, I think this guy just being able to protect his players, and then even saw this past season in the ALCS game when Brian Abreu waiting for Ryan Presley to come in, making Jose Leclerc a little comfortable over there in the Rangers dugout, making it like a 20-minute, 25-minute span being the dugout, not pitching in the game. Of course, that makes the player's arm cold, being particularly the pitcher. So yeah, Dusty Baker just being able to have his guys back no matter what, even though we had talked about in the past that we need to see Dusty kind of get to his players and protect them and be out there for them. But of course, if you know him inside the clubhouse and outside the clubhouse in the Houston area, he's always going to bring something to the players. He's always going to do something. He is a player's manager for a reason. So, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite Dusty moments.
I like it. I like it. I feel like that is when people got excited for this Dusty hire, right? Because that kind of showed the Astros that hey, this manager got they got some players back, like you were saying. But yeah, I really enjoyed that moment too, especially because Joe Petty got a little irritated with that, right? And all this whole drama started. But yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that moment as well. But for me, I'm gonna say just him finally winning that World Series ring as a coach. I think it was long overdue. He was close with the Giants when he had Barry Bonds, and he just couldn't close it out. But
Yeah,
the reason why Dusty Baker came to coach the Astros was to get one last shot at a World Series ring as a coach, and he was able to do it. What I think what enjoyed the most out of that is that when Kyle Tucker caught that ball, yeah, he was happy, but he finished his scorebook.
classic manager.
They treated with every yeah, like treated like every other game. And as soon as he got to the field, ecstatic, right? And yeah, like I mean, that was a great moment for me. And like that's a little bit more recent. And I know there's a ton more, but at the top of my head, that is the one because again, all that work he put in as a player, as a coach, finally paid off at that moment.
Yeah,
And it secured
I,
the
I
dynasty for the
completely,
Astros.
yeah, completely agree. Obviously, he had said he wanted to win another one. And I mean, they were close. They just needed to win that one game, and then they could have been playing either Arizona or Philadelphia. So, shout out to Dusty Dove being there for the 4 years with the Astros and being able to carry this team throughout a really harsh and difficult situation, going to different ballparks and having to hear it from the fans, but being there for the players as well. But can you hear me on the other side before we start on the next one?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, I was about to say, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Dusty, like I said, one wonderful managerial career in Houston, being 4 years, and like you said, he could be the best. He could be one of the best Astros manager. If for me, it'd probably be number one. Of course, the Hinch era could have been better, or it could have gone downhill. But Dusty being able to come here for his 4 years, go into the World Series twice, and go into the ALCS from them 4 years was pretty remarkable. So, oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. Don't forget that.
My bad. No, yeah, I totally agree with you. And yes, we know Dusty Baker is gone now. The Astros have a hole to fill, right? So Brandon Tiger has been booked and busy this offseason because it's coming from him as well. Jim Crane said they'll work quickly to get a manager, which is always good because you don't want to go into close to spring training without a manager because that kind of gets the groove off players and like you want to have a game plan coming into the season. He says Dana and I will do the work and hopefully find something. We'll have a fluid search. The Astros will look to get younger in a managerial role in what will be an attractive job, and then Ashley Danner Brown will have a say. Astros owner Jim Crane and Jeff Bagwell, Astros senior advisor to ownership and baseball operations, will oversee finding the Astros next skip. Now, I think I think as looking at these tweets, right, there
Mhm.
goes to get a manager quick, right? But
Yeah.
it's kind of like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of contradicting a little bit because they want to get younger, like so, which is always good, like having a good mindset in baseball, different outlook in this. But then when I see Jeff Bagwell will also be in advisors, like I feel like Jeff Bagwell's one of those old souls in baseball where he kind of like the unwritten rules type, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but I do it. What I do want to know is if Dana Brown will be in charge. I think it'll be more of a younger coach, take a different perspective of the game. But if Jeff Bagwell's kind of more in the loop, maybe looking like a Ron Washington or a seasoned vet coach that could possibly come in.
For me, I gotta hold my horse. Hold your horses. If you've heard that saying before, that cliche, hold your horses, because Jeff Bagwell. I mean, they're one of the best players in baseball. There's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. That's why he has a plaque out there. But at the same time, too, I'm really want Dana Brown to be very, very, very active in this role. You did not sign this guy as your general manager for no reason to not be a part of a search like this. Yes, Jeff Bagwell has his opinions, he has his thoughts. I'm pretty sure Reggie Jackson is going to give his thoughts and his opinions as a one of the active guys as well in the front office. But Jeff Bagwell, he was a speaker about Dusty Baker when they brought him here. He was a speaker about Rafael Montero, and he spoke about he even went to Florida to go talk to Jose Abreu and his agent and try to convince Abreu to sign with the Astros. Which I still think, yes, this year wasn't the best for Abreu, but I still have hope. I still am optimistic about the next 2 years for Abreu. Yes, years when you get older, you're not the same. But at the same time, too, look at Justin Verlander, what he's done. 2 years in his high 30s, getting Cy Young awards. So I do have hope about Brady. But back to um, Bagwell, you're just hoping that he makes the right calls, he does the right things. Yes, I'd say to me, I think it's a Jim Crane and Dana Brown kind of one on, 1-2 connection instead of Jeff Bagwell, Crane, and that Bermuda Triangle BS that's like gonna just make it go into a triangle effect, and that's not gonna work. I think it has to be Crane and Dana Brown, but I'm not opposed to Bagwell having his opinions, of course. Too, if you remember, which you'll be talking about here in a minute, Brad Osmus, he's been one of the guys really in the loop of the managerial role and the GM in the past, and that was because Bagwell had connections with him.
And then per uh, Bob and go, Brett Asmus and Joe Spada will be strong candidates for the Astros managerial opening. Asmus, if you remember, was a runner-up to Dusty Baker in early, you know, as a manager, and also runner-up to Danner Brown as a general manager, which is to me a little bit more surprising as well. So
Hmm.
I do agree. The time with the Brad Ausmus had with the Astros has like leverage. Like it's there, especially with like you said with Jeff Bell with that connection. But so has Joe Espada. Joe Espada has been the bench coach for the Astros since the Hinch era, and both are very strong candidates. And then even per Jason Bristol, popular Atlanta Braves third base coach Ron Washington is interested in the Houston job. Open manager position Jerry Booth and I have they've learned, right? So which is crazy because now you're seeing like two types of managers, right? You can go with the young, fresh mind, like, or you can go with the seasoned vet. And that's what kind of I was talking about, right? Where
Hmm.
if the Astros want to get younger, which I do 100% agree. I think that's the direction they should go, like where Espada or even Gabe Kepler, which we'll talk about that in a bit, right? So
Hmm.
young, but I don't know. I think with Jim Crane, if like you're saying, like if Jim Crane and Jeff Bagwell are in Danny Brown's ear the most, then I think maybe like a Ron Washington or even like other old school guys, right? But if I feel like if Danny
Yeah.
Brown has his way, I think they'll I'll be a young coach.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm honestly on the loop of a young coach than a not old, but a veteran coach that's been there through a lot of baseball, just like Dusty Baker. But real quick, Osmus's record as a manager, he has 386 wins with 422 losses. If you remember that time, he was the coach for the Detroit Tigers, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Oakland Athletics, which To me, I think you gotta. I agree with you. I think you got to go younger, but I don't oppose Ron Washington. That's another player's manager right there. That I mean, a lot of Atlanta people love, like that quote that you had said there. I wouldn't be opposed to him. But real quick, since we're on the topic of these managerial talks, how about we give out our top five? So, Angel, without further ado, would you like to do the honors of giving your top five managerial candidates? It doesn't. It could be in order, but it doesn't have to.
Okay, let's start with Joe Spot. I think he's my a number one candidate that I would like to see behind the helm for the Astros. I think he, again, that experience he has since the AJ Hint era, and throughout relationships he's built with Altuve and Bregman. I think that goes a long way with leading this team to potentially a World Series. But then you also have Jeff Bannister, a Texas guy,
Mhm.
like, and
U
he's
of H
coached the
alum
Texas
too.
Rangers before. Oh, there you go.
You
You
went
have
to
HLM as
University
well.
of Houston.
I didn't even know that. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll love this job. He has that experience with the Rangers as well, and look what the Diamondbacks are doing. No one expected them to be in the postseason, much less the World Series, and look what they're doing with guys like Kento Marte and Christian Walker stepping up. So is Luis Guerrero, right? So all those guys, I'm sure Jeff Manchester has some influence on those players as well. And I know that Browns is saying young, right? How about Gabe Kapler? I know
Mhm.
he just got like he didn't have the best record with the Giants, but you know a change of scenery can always be good for
Wha-
somebody. And
One of
then
the most jacked managers as well. That man deadlifts a
yeah,
lot. I mean, if you see him in person, he is muscular as hell. One of the muscular
who do
head
you
coaches in baseball right now.
who do you think can win like a lift off between him and the manager from Toronto?
I'll go Kapler. No offense to I think it's what Dave Snyder. I want to say that's his name over there
I think
in
so. Yeah,
Toronto.
I think so. Yeah.
I gotta go with Kapler. The dude wears deadlifts and dingers as a shirt, as a pregame shirt. The dude goes and every stadium he visits, he goes and runs the stairs, which is pretty cool. But at the same time
Okay.
too, I know I'd be already whiffing on stair 15.
Oh yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even make it halfway on the first deck. But then we also have old school, and sometimes old schools, bring that mindset in baseball that no one can understand, but they know how to teach it, they know how to do it. And like you said, the players coach Ron Washington, I think will also be another strong candidate. And then lastly, I don't like it. I'll be honest, I don't like it, but Brad Osmus will be another candidate as well.
Brad Ausmus, I'm pretty intrigued to see what the Astros are going to do in that in that position with Brad, because Ausmus has already came and talked about being the manager and the GM. It'd be interesting what they do from there, because I mean there's no counting out. I think he could be a top three guy because of just the fact that he's gone for the job two times in a row as a GM and as a coach, which he is a Ivy League graduate as well. I think he graduated from Princeton. I want to say.
I mean, you
So
have to be smart to be a catcher in this league, and I mean, like he wasn't the best
yeah,
hitting catcher, but he was good defensively, and game calling was superior.
yeah. Shout out to that home run he hit in the NLDS in '05, I believe, when you remember when 18 innings, I want to say, against the
Hmm.
Braves. So
I mean,
yeah, I mean there are some good ones. I mean, if you had to smaller it down, if you had to shrink the candidates, give me the three real quick. I know I'm
Joe
putting you on the spot.
Espada, Ron Washington, Jeff Bannister. That's in that order.
I like it. I like it. Two Texas Rangers in that candidate of yours of the top five.
Hmm.
But with me, on the other hand, I gotta go with, yes. I think my number one guy would be Joe Espada too. Just like you said, he's been through with the Astros since the Hinch era of 19, um, or 18, actually 18. So he's seen the Astros develop through the years. He knows the guys very well. One of the best, I'd say, infield defensive coaches in the game. Next up, give me Omar Lopez. Or why not? And why not Lopez? Why not give that guy a shot? He did manage the WBC Venezuela team. and they did a pretty good job. Remember, they beat Puerto Rico, they beat Dominican Republic. They just fell short either to, I want to say, the U.S., which I believe it was either the U.S. or Japan, one of those teams anyway. But yeah, Omar Lopez does have some experience as a managerial coach. He did manage in the minor leagues as well, so I think he'd be a good fit. Rodney Linares, how about him, Angel? Bench coach of
Okay,
the
okay, okay.
Tampa Bay Rays. If you remember, he has some ties to Texas as well. He uh he managed in the farm system. I want to say Double A for sure. I'm not sure in Triple A, but I mean he did manage in the minor leagues. He does know some of these guys as well. Altuve, Bregman, um, but with them two for sure. But other than that, I'm not 100% sure. After that, you had Ron Washington on one. You had him on the third base side. Give me the first base side. Give me the first base coach, Eric Young Sr. He
I
hasn't
like it.
had he hasn't had any managerial experience, I think, but I believe he's just like Ron Washington. He is a player's coach. I remember seeing the Austin Riley home run in this year's postseason, and he was jumping down like a little kid at first, man. I mean, I think he'd do a fascinating job, but of course, I'm not 100% sure. And then last but not least, Craig Counsell. He is on the map right now. David Stearns, a big analytic guy that was under Michael Elias and Jeff Luno during their time in Houston. Obviously, he went to Milwaukee and brought in Craig Counsell. Craig has done a great job over there with the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, the Brewers don't have them superstar players. Just imagine with him having guys like Altuve, Alvarez, Tucker, Bregman. What do you think of that? You think he could do a fascinating job with guys like this instead of the Brewers like small mid market team?
Yeah, I mean, Craig Counsell was a smart player in his day, and smart players brew great managers. And I mean, with this squad, I think he can have a lot more success than he did in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's been in Milwaukee for 7 years, I believe. So there is a strong chance, though, too, that he could be heading to New York with the Mets, just along with David Stearns and Steve Cohen. So it'll be interesting to see there. But if I had to do three, I'd go with Linares. I'd go with the Spada. I don't mind Eric. I don't mind Craig Counsell, but I think I'm leaning towards Eric Young Sr. more and more. But Omar Lopez, I don't think he's done a bad job. I think if Joe Espada does go and be the head coach of the Houston Astros for the next seasons, then I think Omar Lopez could be a bench coach. I think Joe Espada would bring him in into his coaching staff instead of the first base coach. I think he'll bring him into a bench coach, and then from there, it could give Lopez more opportunities to try to manage in the future. I mean, you're there though, right? I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, good, good. But yeah, I mean that's our top five manager candidates for the vacant job of the Astros. We will post these on Full Steam Ahead on Twitter. God, I got a burp on me. But Angel, let's end on this Halloween note. What is the favorite go-to candy? What is your favorite go-to candy on Halloween? Are you a candy corn kind of guy, or you're like the chocolate type of dude?
Excuse me?
I said, what candy? What candy do you like to eat on Halloween? Are you a chocolate candy
Oh,
kind of guy? Are you a candy corn kind of guy, or you're that hard candy like a sweet tart or airheads kind of dude?
ooh, that's easy. Chocolate all the way. And let me some Snickers, Kit Kat, Twix, you name it. If it
Okay, the number
except
one
dark
chocolate
chocolate.
bar, the number one chocolate bar, then you have to have at Halloween that you probably be stealing
Snickers.
from your kid today.
Snickers.
Snickers.
Snickers without doubt. Yeah,
So you're gonna be very
I
satisfied
like it.
later on.
It's just oh yeah, I have a whole bag right now.
Oh shoot! No, he's already gonna instead of giving it to the trick or treaters, he's gonna be eating them
Oh
already.
yeah. One for the kids, one for me. There you go.
There, that's what I'm saying. Whatever your son gets, that's all yours, dude. That is all yours right there. For me though, I gotta go with Reese's. I'm a Reese's Buttercup kind of dude. I just love the peanut
Okay.
butter and the milk chocolate together. It's just a chef's kiss. I can't give none to the horse because the horse would get probably sick, and next thing you know, operating room. So other than that, Angel, I mean that is the end of our Halloween special slash De los Muertos. I don't know. Do you celebrate Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah, yeah. We
You do?
usually have a little altar with some candles.
And little
Something
altar
simple.
candy. Yeah, something simple. Like for me, we do celebrate it as well here in my household. We probably go get some empanadas and some, sweet bread, coffee, whatever the person loves. Of the person that was here with us. But of course, they're there with us with spirit. But other than that, Angel, continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, X on FSA, Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. Follow our YouTube page as well as our TikTok page as well. Threads, we're still there. Well, we'll continue giving up content during the off season. We love to hear your feedback on that as well. And then, of course, follow us on our podcast platforms, Google, Spotify, and Apple. Real quick, I remember some of our followers did put out their managerial people. James Ness, he said number one, Joe Espada. Number two, Joe Espada. Number three, Josh Reddick. Interesting one right there. Josh
Gosh,
Reddick,
right.
mystery relevant.
I don't know about that
I, I,
one.
th- I think there's another one that's better. Thunder God. He only had one. Give us the Conger bot. Hank Conger. First base coach of the Minnesota Twins. That wouldn't be a bad one, honestly. He's a real fun house kind of guy. I'm pretty sure Altuve wouldn't mind him being back in Houston.
I
But
know.
other than that, Angel, you have anything else before we sign off, my man?
Just peace and don't eat too much candy.
Yes, do not eat too much candy because next thing you know, your stomach is going to hurt the next morning. And I think everybody knows how that feeling is sometimes.
Oh, also, Adolis Garcia and Max Scherzer off the Texas American League roster for the World Series.
Wow. Breaking news right there
Yeah,
coming from Full Steam Ahead on the Astros podcast, talking about Rangers baseball.
yeah,
That's hurtful right there for the Rangers, though, to be honest, because Adolis Garcia has
yeah.
been their bread and butter for this offense, and Corey Seager as well. So
That's how
Diamondbacks
much.
got a great
That's how
chance.
big. That's how big Game 3 was for the Rangers because if they fought
Yeah.
2-1 and then without Adolis Garcia and Max Scherzer, I don't know.
Well, just think about game one as well. If Adolis Garcia doesn't hit that home run, the
Yeah,
walk off, or even Corey Seager, they'd be down 2-1 right now. So
yeah. 3-0 possibly.
3-0 possibly. But other than that, that is the end of our show. Of course, like we said, we'll produce some content out there for the off season, and as well, just continue to follow us, continue to listen to our platforms, and we will have a new episode next week. Like we said, we'll probably be doing an episode a week just to give us a break and be able to spend time with our families. But other than that, y'all have a safe and blessed one on this Halloween Wednesday. Well, not Wednesday, but Tuesday. Listen to this on a Wednesday of Dia de los Muertos. Have a safe one. Stay blessed. See you later.